Alright, so another late night little Arduino session for me. That's why I'm talking a bit softly, because the kids are up in bed. And that's also why I've got a little bit of, well, I was going to say blue tack, but it's white tack of my little piezo buzzer there, because I don't want to wake the kids. Anyway, right, let's have a little look at this breadboard first of all. So, on pin, what have we got? 2. And we've got a red LED, standard, and then our little piezo buzzer with the white tack going on to pin 7, I think. Yes, pin 7. And then on pin 12, just there. That's actually an input. Okay, and we've got a little 10k pull down resistor there, so that when there's no connection being made on those 2 wires there. Okay, pin 12 is seeing ground. That's what that pull down resistor there is doing, that little 10k pull down resistor. Now what you normally expect to see on the end of these 2 wires here would be one of those, or maybe a homebrew one of those. That's just a little doorbell that I wired up as a push button. But no, because this is, well, it would work with one of those, but this is slightly more fun because it involves water, electric, water. I love mixing the two. What this basically is a water sensor. So what happens when, obviously water is a rather good conductor of electricity, so when I put those 2 in there, I fry myself. No. Okay, I get a little warning light going on, and if you can hear that buzzer, maybe I've put too much white tack on there, but there is a buzzer. So it's basically a water sensor, which is savage. Yeah, okay, let's have a little look at the sketch for this. Oh, by the way, before I do, I don't want to claim credit for this. I really like this little sketch and circuit. I don't want to claim it as my own. It's another one from Programming Electronics. They have a free course. It's very good, by the way. I subscribe to them, and a lot of the videos I'm doing at the moment are kind of taken from stuff on their site. This one is from a really good unit actually that he does on proof of concept prototyping, and he basically runs through the whole process of putting this together. He puts it together as a kind of basement flood warning prototype or something. But it's a really good unit. It goes through the pen and paper design phase, through algorithms and pseudocode, into the circuit and the code, reusing existing code and circuits. It's really good unit, I have to say. I like this because there's so many possible applications of the prototype. You know, he does it as a basement flood warning prototype, obviously with the wires being fixed. I think he does it on the sump pump or whatever, I'm not quite sure what that is, but you could obviously fix the wires, and as water rises to a certain level it would set off the alarm. So there's a lot of different usages. You could do it from, I don't know, it could be like an automated stopcock, or I don't know, even a release valve for a dam or something mad like that. You could even invert the warning so that it senses the absence of water, and it could be linked to a pump to refill, I don't know, whatever. It's cool, it's cool. Anyway, let's have a little look at the code. And as I said, I'm a bit of a sucker about anything that mixes water and electronics, but anyway. Right, what do we got then? So let's, there's a nice little while loop in this, by the way, and it's not too complex a code. This is a little slight adaptation of the code that was used on Programming Electronics, but essentially it's his code, so credit where credit's due and all that. Right, starting at the top then. Constant integers for the pins, so we've got the warning light pin, the red light on 2, the buzzer pin on 7, and the sensor pin on 12, and obviously that's an input. Sensors ground through that pull down resistor, when there's no connection and when there is a connection via H2O. 5 volts coming in. So in the setup we've got the just pin mode set for the warning light pin and the warning buzzer pin, both set to output. I could set the pin mode for the water sensor pin as an input, but by default all the pins on the Arduino are input anyway. I could put it in there for clarity, but it's not really required, so that's why it's not in there. The loop is rather nice on this one. It's a while loop. So basically what it's saying, I mean, paraphrasing the whole thing, it's basically saying while there is water, you know, buzz the buzzer and flash the lights, and then there's a little bit down the bottom to turn off the lights. In a bit more detail, what we're looking at, okay, so while the digital read on the water sensor pin is high, okay, so as I said, if there's no connection between those two loose wires, pin, what was it, I had it set up on 12, pin 12, yeah, pin 12, the water sensor pin is it's just seeing ground basically through that pull down resistor, so that's not going to be true, so that while loop doesn't run basically. But if the two loose wires are in the water, then the water is basically closing the circuit, and it's like same as pressing a push button. So that digital read water sensor pin is going to exactly equal high, so the while loop is going to execute. And what's going to happen? So I'm going to turn on the warning light pin, that's that digital write warning light pin high. I could put, as the next line of code there, line 13, I could put digital write warning buzzer pin high just to turn on the buzzer, but there's a nice little function tone, which will do the same thing. Essentially it'll turn on the warning buzzer pin, but it will do so at a certain frequency and for a certain duration, 2000 being the frequency and 100 being the duration for that. So that's just a fancy way to turn on the buzzer at a different tone, that's all. As I said, digital write warning buzzer pin high would work equally well on line 13 there, but it would just be at a different tone, that's all. And the tone was a new function for me on this one, so I thought I'd try it out. I messed around with the parameters and that, and yeah, all good. Anyway, we've got a bit of a delay and then low, so as that while loop loops, that's what gives us the flashing and the beep 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 beep. It's important to have the digital write warning light pin low at the bottom because we need to turn that off basically. You know, if you put the wires into the water, or if you have the wires fixed then the water level reaches them, you know, you have to turn off the LED once that's no longer the case. You don't need to do that with the piezo buzzer. So that's the sketch. It's rather nice. Yeah, that's it pretty much. Oh, by the way, if you're looking for a cheap push button or something a bit funky, just go to your local B&Q or whatever and grab yourself one of them and wire it up, and that works just as well as one of them, which costs a few more quid in Macklin. Anyway, that's by the by. Flood warning. Flood warning. Right. Bye.